So yesterday in the training, I talked about very simple things, that is installing Java and downloading the jar files of Selenium, right? And we'll continue forward from there. One of somebody had written me an email saying that he or she downloaded the Selenium zip file from the website seleniumhq.org as, hold on. Yes, you can join in. Right. So this was the website where I told you can download the jar file. You have to download this thing. You get a zip file, and when you unzip the file, you will have the jar file. Okay. So hold on. So yesterday I told you that you will get these jar files. Okay. Under the library folder also you will have various jar files. Right. All you need to do is that you need to make a project. Suppose I'll make a new project today, and I'll call it day 2 Java project day 2, fine. And what I'll do is that in this project I will add some, not some, but all the jar files for Selenium. You need to make sure that all the jar files are there in the project. Okay, I'll add these two, and I will add the ones in library. Okay, so you need to add all the jar files for Selenium, fine, and inside it you'll have the source folder. Okay, now yesterday I just talked about basics of Java. That is how to print some basic stuff, what a class file is, what a jar file is, right? I clarified few doubts, questions regarding Selenium, regarding the course. So we'll be starting with the concepts of object-oriented programming today. Okay, so I'm going to start with the concepts of object-oriented programming. Before that, I would like to clarify something. As I told you yesterday, everybody in this training is on mute. Okay, everybody is on mute. If you have to ask a question, there are 3 ways. First way is that you can move your mouse on the top of the window, and you can unmute yourself. There will be an unmute button and ask questions, right? Or you can use the WebEx chat. If you move your mouse, you will see the WebEx chat. You can use the WebEx chat to ask a question, or you can go to Skype and ask me a question. You can add me on Skype. My Skype ID is same as my website name, that is QTP Selenium. Okay, my Skype ID is QTP Selenium. Right. So now let's under the day 2 source folder, let's start with the concepts of object-oriented programming. Right. Suppose I will make a new class over here, fine, and I'll give a very simple name to that class. For example, a class called color. Fine. This is the color class. This is the main function. What I'll do is I will not put the main function in the color class. Right. Hold on, just be with me. I'll tell you what I'm doing. Now about this color class. Suppose if I write over here string name, what is this property? This property defines the color type. Okay. Now suppose I make a new class again, and I call it as test color. Right. with the main function in it. Okay, so now this is the test color class with the main function in it. If I write inside it color C1 equals to new color, this is known as creating the object. Or hold on, if I just write new color, then practically what I do is that I create the object, right? I create the object of the color class. What do you mean by creating the object? Okay, if I write it 3 times, then I create 3 objects of the color class. Okay, well, what happens is that in the memory, objects like these are formed, and each object will have the name property inside it. We had shown earlier, right, that the color has got a name, right? So when I create 3 objects like this in the memory practice, 3 objects come up, each object has the name property, right? But you cannot access these objects. To access these objects, you need references. So we write something like this, that is color C1 equals to new color, color C2 equals to new color, color C3 equals to new color. Fine. So what happens is that practically in the memory you get object references. Fine. C1 points towards the first object, C2 towards the second, and C3 towards the third object. Okay. C1, C2 and C3 are 3 object references, right, of the 3 objects of the class color. Okay. Now what is the usage of this? Why am I doing like this? Okay. Right. Question being asked is why do you use color reference, that is color C1? So that I have a handle in the memory. I have a way to access them. With C1, C2 and C3 I can access these objects. If I write over here C1 dot, you will get the name. It is the syntax. This is how you write it. It is the way you write it in Java. Okay. This is the syntax. You cannot write C1 equals to new color, you get an error. It is the syntax, you have to write color C1 equals to new color. So if I write C1 equals to red, C2 dot name equals to green, C3 dot name equals to blue. So C1, C2 and C3 are 3 object references towards which point towards different objects. So what happens in the memory now is that, hold on 1 minute. Yeah, this becomes, the name becomes red, this becomes green, and this becomes blue. Okay. Now practically if you look at this, what is the practical meaning? There is just one property name, but with the help of objects I have given the name different values for different objects. Okay, suppose tomorrow in the color class I introduce a new variable, right? For example, uh, or string uh, or boolean type. Boolean is something which is uh, boolean is something which can only hold true and false. Okay, a boolean type called is RGB, right? So I can access this property from the here as well. That is C1 dot is RGB equals to true. Similarly, all the three colors fall under the RGB category. C2 dot is RGB true, C3 dot is RGB true. So you can have multiple properties. Okay, you can have functions like public void print name. Inside it you print system.out.println name of the color. Okay, or you can write something like this: color name is plus the name of the color. Okay, sorry, name. Right. So when you go here, you can call these functions. When you write c1 dot print name, c2 dot print name, c3 dot print name, when c1 calls its own print name, right? What happens is it prints the name of c1. When c2 will call print name, it will print the name of c2, and when c3 will call the print name, it will print the name of c3. This is because the print name function has got a copy with every object. Okay, if you call the print name function with C3, the print name prints the name for C3. Okay, if you run this code, you see that color name is red, color name is green, color name is blue. That's simple. Okay, right? Now, what is the practical usage of this in Selenium? How do we use this concept of objects in Selenium? Right? I'll create a new class known as Selenium base. Now, inside Selenium, always remember everything is inbuilt. Okay, everything is inbuilt inside the API. You just need to use the existing classes which are there in Selenium API. For example, I made this class color and I created the objects of this class in test color. But in Selenium, all the classes are inbuilt. You need to use the inbuilt classes. I have included the reference libraries over here. Inside the reference libraries, I will have all the classes of Selenium because inside the reference libraries you have the jar files for Selenium. Okay, for example, in a very elaborate way, if I go to the site seleniumhq.org, okay, and you click on the download link and you will see the Java doc link over here. Okay, so when you click on the Java doc link, you get the documentation. In the documentation, you have some classes, like these are all the classes in the API. It's quite vast. Now you have a class known as Firefox driver. Most of you might have seen this. Okay, if I take this class, what this class does is it is used to run your test cases on Firefox. Okay, if I create the object of this class, if I write new Firefox driver, okay, you'll get an error like this. You have to import this driver class. This driver class is present somewhere in the reference libraries. Okay, you move your mouse over Firefox driver and you import it. Right, you import the Firefox driver, and when you run this, you'll see that a blank Firefox opens up. Right. Okay, so this is what the stuff is all about. Everything is inbuilt. This class is inbuilt. Okay, this class Firefox driver is somewhere inside this jar file. Okay, all you need to do is that you need to create the object of that class. Earlier I had myself made color.java and made the object of the class, but Firefox driver is inbuilt. You need to make the object of the class. You can write something like this: Firefox driver f equals to new Firefox driver. Okay, and you write after that, suppose f dot, you will get all the set of functions which are available with the Firefox driver. For example, close, it will close the browser, or find element, it will find any component on the web page, suppose a link or a button which you want to click with, right? Or there are many functions, like for example there is a function called as simply get. This will navigate you to a particular URL. For example, I write http any website, yahoo.com. So what this will do, this will open the Firefox and it will call the get function, right? Now you'll go to the get, yahoo.com will open, and after that suppose you write f.close. So this will close the browser, right? So all these functions, get, close and all, are there pre-built inside Firefox driver. So that's why I told you you should be good at reading this documentation, because in this documentation you have the complete description. This is the constructor summary, this is the method summary, these are all the methods inside the Firefox driver, right? So now if I run this code, see that it opens Yahoo. Okay, and it closes the browser, right? It simply closes the browser. Fine. So similarly, there is a driver class for every browser. Okay, everything is inbuilt. For example, now suppose I have to work on Chrome. I'll comment this code, all the 3 lines. This is how you comment. Comment means disabling, right? Question being asked is, can you please elaborate on reading the documentation? I will do that as we proceed with the course. Fine, you'll come to know. Okay, you will come to know as we proceed with the course. Right now, similarly, you have a class. Hold on. For Chrome, you have got Chrome driver. Okay, this is Chrome driver. Fine, this is used to execute on Chrome. If I write over here, Chrome driver C1 equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, or Chrome driver simply C. Now you will get an error because you again have to import it, like you imported the Firefox driver. So move your mouse over there, you'll get the import option. Okay, you can click on this and Chrome driver will be imported. Or if I delete this, the best way to import it, there's a shortcut in the keyboard, Control Shift O. Everything would be imported. You see that Chrome driver gets imported. You press Control plus Shift plus O. This will import the files. Like suppose if I delete this line again, you're getting an error. You can simply press Control Shift O. The file will be imported. There will be gone. Right? Okay. Now you write over here. Suppose Chrome driver equals new Chrome driver, and when you run this, 99.99% of you guys will get this error. Illegal state exception. The path to the driver executable must be set by the WebDriver.Chrome.Driver system property. Look, whenever you get an error like this, okay, don't be afraid. Many times I've seen people, they get afraid and then they leave it. Right? It's very simple. Just copy the error, okay, and simply go to Google. This is how you learn, right? Simply go to google.com and paste the error and search. You will get lots of solutions. Okay, you can read the solutions and work accordingly. I'll tell you why you are getting the error. Okay, because Chrome is a third-party browser implementation in Selenium. Right? If you go to the main page, okay, you will have this thing. Third-party browser drivers not developed by Selenium HT. One of them is Chrome. Okay, what you need to do is that you need to go to the downloads page for Chrome, and you need to download this Chrome driver.exe depending on your Windows based or web based operating system. Okay, I will download this one because mine is a Windows based. You'll have to download this one, and I'll get this. Hold on. Just hold on. And you get this Chrome driver. Open this. You extract it, and you will get a Chrome driver.exe file. Don't run this. You will not get anything by running this exe file. Okay, I'll just cut this and place it directly in my H drive, Chrome driver.exe. Okay, and hold on. What you need to do is that in your code, you need to write a line that is system dot set property WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver, and you basically need to give the path of the exe file, that is H drive. This is your Chrome driver.exe. Just give the path of this exe file. Okay. Okay. So now when you run this, you have to do this before initializing Chrome driver. Don't do this after initializing. Okay. Now when you run this, Chrome will work fine. You see that Chrome has opened. Alright. Now if you write the same command, that is c.get to the website http cnn.com. Now another thing to note out here is that please make sure you specify the protocol. If you just write cnn.com or www.cnn.com, right, it will throw an error. It will throw an error and you will be confused. Please give the full name. Fine. And now you again run this. You see that it goes to CNN, right? So for Chrome driver, you need to be a little bit cautious. You have to include the Chrome driver exe in your system path, and only then Chrome driver will work. Similarly, for Internet Explorer driver, you have got what is system class. I'll talk about it in 2 minutes. I'll talk about system in 2 minutes. Okay. Now the question is, we have different versions of Chrome exe for different OS. Yeah, for Firefox we do not have, Ajay. For Chrome you have. Okay. There is a way around if you have got multiple operating systems to test on. I'll tell you later on, right? There is a way around. If they Sabya is asking a question, what in the case of HTTPS websites? It's quite simple. You can include HTTPS. Both the protocols are supported, HTTP as well as HTTPS. Okay, so just a minute, please. Yeah. Similarly, if I have worked with Internet Explorer, okay, right now, yeah, Kavita, you want to ask a question? You want to ask some question, Kavita? Okay. So similarly, if you have to work on Internet Explorer, okay. So for Internet Explorer, you have got another driver. Hold on. Yeah, Internet Explorer driver class. Okay, I'll comment out this thing as well. For Internet Explorer driver, you have got iDriver.exe, Internet Explorer driver.exe. You create the object of that class. Okay, like I am on a server operating system, so I have i6 with me, but most of you will be having i8, i9, i10 with you on Windows 7 or Windows 8 based platforms. Okay, so there is a way to work with Internet Explorer driver. First of all, let me hit Control Shift O of my keyboard so that this class gets imported. See that it gets imported, right? So if I write over here i.get http say qtp selenium.com. Okay, if I run this code, you will get an error again. Out here also there is a driver executable. Fine, remember in case of I as well, you need to download this one, Internet Explorer driver server. Okay, download the version 2.32.3 for 32-bit or 64-bit, whatever it is the case, depending on your operating system. Depending on your I, if it is a 32-bit I or if it is 64-bit I, right? So download this exe, right? Bhargavi, I'll just answer your question just 1 minute. You save this and This is the iDriver server. You extract here, right? This file also I will keep in my H drive over here, right? So what you need to do now is the same story. You have to write system dot set property WebDriver dot I dot driver, and the value would be the path to this exe. Fine. System dot set property WebDriver dot I dot driver, and you give the path to the exe. Fine. When you run this code, you see WebDriver will open up this Internet Explorer. Fine. Hold on, I accidentally opened two. Just a minute. You see that? Okay. But I've got i6. There's no use of working on i6. In case of your machines, you can write this. And before that, there is one more thing which you need to do in case of Windows 7 or Windows 8 based operating system. Make sure that there is something known as protected mode in I. Okay, you just go to Google and type I protected mode settings. Right, you need to go to protected mode, and the best thing is disable the protected mode for all the levels. Okay, when you open up when you open up protected mode, you will come to know just actually you have to bring it at the same level. Better is if you disable it for all the levels. Okay, so it will help you a lot. Fine. So this is the criteria for I. You first have to make sure that the protected mode is off, and you have to set a system property. Okay, fine. Now moving ahead. Right. Now what is this system? Right. And one more question was being asked. It was, which version of Firefox is supported by Selenium, because I tried with another. Yeah, better is that you work with 16 or 17 version. Okay. Don't try to use the latest one. It gives issues with many people. Okay. Better is you go for the latest. Sorry, 16th or the 17th version of 16.0 or 17.0. Now, moving forward, okay, I had explained you this color class. Fine, and this was the test color. To access the properties of this color class, for example, name is RGB print name. What I was doing was I was creating the objects of the color class in test color and accessing through the objects. Okay, now technically this name, it is known as a non-static variable. Okay, this is also known as non-static variable. This is known as a non-static function. Now what is static, what is non-static, right? So we'll be looking at that now. Hold on. Before that, a question is being asked. But for our browse testing projects, we need to use the latest version of the browsers or latest -1. Look, the thing is, the rate at which the version of the version of Firefox is changing. Okay, it's very difficult to cope up for the Selenium guys to change Selenium at that rate. If you talk about IE or if you talk about Chrome, Selenium works on the latest one. Okay, but for Firefox, the problem is the versions are changing very fast. You must have seen that. Hardly 2 years back, we were seeing Firefox 3 or 4. Now we are seeing Firefox 20. Okay, so that's the point, right? But still, till 16 or 17, it is supporting right now. 25, okay, that's great. So now moving ahead, right? So yeah, ID will work fine, Ankit. ID is supported. ID will work fine. Right. Even with 20, Firefox works fine on my machine. With Firefox 20, Selenium works very fine. Even WebDriver works very fine. If you talk about some people will definitely face issue like Bhargavi is facing issue. Officially, they don't have the support. Okay, so it's better to use 16 or 17, right? So yeah, yes, I have used 20 with no issues, but people they face issue, right? There are some operating systems, some system configurations because of which Selenium fails to work, right, on 20. Okay. Yeah, another question. Yeah, this is a nice one. That is, if I am opening iDriver or if I am opening Chrome driver, you will see that in your processes Chrome driver.exe and iDriver.exe will keep on running. Even after everything is over, these exes they keep on running. Okay, Chrome driver.exe is running because I had initialized system property and I had run Chrome driver, and iDriver is running because of this. Okay, look, the best practice is that in the end of your code you write the driver dot quit statement. This will close the process. Right, so this will prevent the memory from being eaten up unnecessarily. Okay, so you can use the quit command to close the process. Alright, fine. So continuing forward, as I was telling you, yeah, Chrome driver is a third-party driver implementation. Yes, it's written on the website, right? If you go to this, yeah, I'll tell you, Sabya, what is the difference between this close and quit? I'll tell you later on. Right now, I'm not in the position to explain the difference between close and quit. Okay, that they are very different, right? Uh, yes, we downloaded the drive. Yes, we downloaded the drivers for both IE and Chrome. Right? If you look at the website, then the Chrome driver we had downloaded from here. Downloaded. The Google guys have made this Chrome driver.exe. Okay, and if you talk about Internet Explorer driver, then this is the Internet Explorer driver. You can download it from here. Okay, now like there is a driver for everything. For example, if you look at this thing, these are all the drivers available. If you look at WebDriver, hold on, just hold on. The drivers which are available to us are Android driver. Okay, this helps us to emulate the test cases on Android. Okay, it will help us to open the browser on Android and test. Okay. Then there is a Safari driver as well. This is not so stable. I have tried working with it. Many things don't work on this. Okay, this is not very stable. Then there are others as well: event firing driver, HTML unit driver, iPhone driver. Okay, so all these are different driver classes for different browsers and devices. Okay, question is being asked: is Selenium development still active to compatible? Yes, WebDriver is still active. If you look at this, uh, if you look at this Java version 2.32, if you look at the change log, then you can see that this is the version, latest version 2.32. They have not mentioned the date, but it just came up hardly 1 week back. Okay, this is a continuous process. Look, the main person, the main entity working behind WebDriver is Google. Google uses Selenium to automate all their applications. All Google applications, Gmail, AdWords, AdSense, all these applications, Google Apps, everything is automated using Selenium. So they are the main guys behind this tool, and this tool is here for a very very long time because Google uses it a lot, right? And it's free. Okay. Another question is being asked that what is the sorry, what is the use of a driver known as HTML unit driver? If you look at the documentation, you will see a driver known as HTML unit driver. Now this is used for running the Selenium in a headless mode. Okay, that is when you run this driver, the driver actually works without opening the browser. Okay, for example, if I close this one HTML unit driver is very fast. Okay, it is like if I write HTML unit driver h equals to new HTML unit driver, and I write h dot get http gmail.com, right? And then I write system.out.println h dot get the title of the page. Get title command gives you the title of the page. Okay, if you run this, you will actually not see the browser opening up, fine, but you will get the title of the page. So this is used to run it in a headless mode. Suppose you have to test your script on a Unix box. On Unix, you don't have Firefox, you don't have Chrome, you don't have IE. I'm talking about the command line interface of Unix. I'm not talking about the operating system. I'm talking about the command line interface, right? So over there, you run it in the headless mode using HTML unit driver, and you actually don't see the browser opening, but behind the scenes, the testing is done. I hope you are able to get my point, right? Can we use Selenium for testing iPhone? And no. For application, suppose you have a game on Android, or you have a game on Android, or game on iPhone, right? You don't use Selenium for it. But if you have a web-based application and you want to check how is that application opening on iPhone or how is that application opening on Android, then you use Selenium. Okay. For testing the apps, you have got different tools. For example, for app testing in Android, you have a tool known as Robotium. Okay, you have a tool known as Robotium. You test using Robotium. Right. So going further on, as I was telling you in color.java, technically these variables are known as non-static variables, right? Print name is a non-static function. Now suppose I make a static variable like this. Static uh, say int, say a variable like a. Okay. So when I create a variable with the name static in it, right? What is the difference between this? Is technically a static variable. So in the memory, I had explained you this figure, right? Name will be there in the in every object and all everything. Static, okay. Static, what it does is it doesn't reside in any object. A will go and reside out here. It will be common for all the objects. Okay. Static is not the property of an object. Always remember, static will not fall under any object. When I was in color.java, in order to access the name property, which was non-static, I had to create the object of the class. But if I have to access the static property, I can access it directly like this. Color dot, you write the name of the class, you put a dot, okay, you will get the property A. Color dot A equals to 100, I can give anything. So static is something which you can directly access with the name of the class. But non-static is something which can only be accessed with objects. Okay, there are few questions being asked. Can we? What is the difference between a constant and a static variable? Static variable is a constant. This is a constant. There is no difference as such. Okay. Can we use the browser and iPhone for testing? Yes, you can use that. Yes, you can. Look, there are two ways to test Android and iPhone based websites, like using Android and iPhone. One is you can directly connect your phone to your PC and execute your test cases on the phone. The other is that you can use the emulator. What is an emulator? It's like a device which it's like a simulation of iPhone on your own PC. Okay, there's a software on which you can simulate it, and you can simulate it on that, and you can run it. There are two ways. Okay. So if you go to the look, I don't have the videos for iPhone driver because to make those I need to be registered with the iPhone guys, right? But I have the Android one which is open source. If you look at if people who have registered for the training already, if they log in into their accounts, they can actually go and see this Android driver module. In this I have told very good things about it, how do you test using Android. You have to basically change the user agent of the browser and test it. Alright. So now okay, moving further. Now this is static. Static is something which is the property of the class. You can directly write the class name dot the static content. For example, in Selenium basics, right? I will comment this HTML unit driver as well. Okay. Now there's a class called as Firefox driver. Okay. We're creating the object of this class. Now get, close, or Firefox dot, all these functions are non-static. There are so many of them, right? But if I write Firefox driver, the name of the class dot, you see these are all the static properties in that class. I'll talk about them later on, but you should know that static can be accessed directly with the name of the class and dot. Non-static, you have to create the object. Okay. Similarly, when you write over here in case of Chrome driver, system.set property. What is system? System is a class inside Java. It is an inbuilt class in Java, and set property is a function inside it, which is static in nature. So you directly call it with the name system.setProperty. I hope you are able to understand this. System is a class in Java, right? Set property is a static function inside that class. You can directly call system.setProperty and you can set the system property. Okay. So any questions from anybody till now? Anything regarding the course, regarding the training, regarding technical queries, anything? Okay. The question being asked is how can I enroll for the training? Very simple. You can simply go to my website utpselenium.com. Go to the home page. There's a contact trainer section over here. Okay. Click on this. On the next page, fill out the form. Right. Send me a message that you want to join. Mention your details, and I'll contact you. Okay. Question is being asked again. HTML driver once again, please. Okay. Suppose your requirement is to test your script on Linux or Unix-based command line interface. For example, on Unix everything looks like this. You have a command line interface. Now you don't have browser over there. Okay, you don't have browser over there. So how will you work? In that case, we use HTML unit driver, because technically HTML unit driver tests the application or the website without opening the browser. It's all behind the scenes, right? I just told you over here, right? If you uncomment this, HTML unit driver will actually go to Gmail and print the title of Gmail without opening the browser. So if I run this, you'll see that directly the title of the Gmail page is printing. Okay. Ajay, can I have your email, please? No, if you have to execute shell scripts using putty, using Selenium has got no commands for that, Hari Prasad. There is another API in Java with which you have to do that. Okay. Yogesh is asking a question. Are we adding an environment? No, we are not actually adding an environment variable, Yogesh, by using set property. You are just setting a system property temporarily while the code is running. Right? This is not exactly an environment variable. Question is being asked. We can't verify the UI components in HTML. You can do that. If I have to verify whether a link is present on the web page using HTML driver, you can do that. I'll talk about verifications and all later on. Right. So you can do that. Fine. So I will be emailing you the link for today's training, the recorded session. Okay. We will meet again tomorrow. Same time, the class will start at 8 AM. I activate the meeting 30 minutes before the class starts. Okay. For those who don't have their email ID registered, you can register it from the website. You can go to the plans and prices page. Okay. Do we have logins for accessing your site? Once you enroll for the course, you will get the login IDs as well. As I told you, if you are interested in joining, you can go to the contact trainer section of the website and send me a message that you want to enroll for the course. I'll give you your login ID. Contact trainer, right? Right. All right then. Again, few people joined a little late. I'll again give everybody the URL. This is the URL for yesterday's training. I just pinged everybody. This is the recorded session. Can we pick the particular course and enroll for it? What do you mean by a particular course, Santosh?